My name's Stuart Middleton. I'm the Catering and Dining Operations Manager for Renaissance Care. Of course, so my role entails a whole host of things. From I like to think of it as the journey from the food coming in the back door all the way to the residents enjoying it in the dining room. Training the chefs, developing the guys in the kitchen, making sure that the food that they're putting out is the absolute best it can be, and then making sure that the mealtime experience for the residents, again, is the best that it can be. Everyone has fun when they're eating the food and everyone enjoys it, which is the most important thing. The way that we create the menus, we've got 4 menu cycles a year that tie in with the seasons and the produce that's readily available on the doorstep at that time. And we like to engage with the residents in a fun and social way in order for them to try some of the dishes before we actually create those menus. Looking at latest food trends that's hitting the streets, hitting the care sector, and just listening to the residents' feedback and giving them the food on the menu that they want to eat. There's no nutritional value in food that goes in the bin. So ultimately, we have to make sure that everything we put in front of the residents is food that they're going to enjoy. So we can cater any meal for any resident, no matter what their dietary requirements, their religious beliefs, their cultural beliefs, or their needs are. We can give the residents the same meal and the same experience as anybody in our care, just by tailoring a couple of different things or adapting the protein element or the sauce, excluding something, but ultimately it's the same dish that they have, just done differently for their dietary requirements. When a resident first comes into one of our homes, we like the chef to come out and interact with the resident, meet them, introduce themselves, and get to know the resident, get to know what food is important to them, what they want around mealtimes. Ultimately, we need to make sure that the resident feels safe and comfortable in our care. And if that means that the chef's got to go and spend an hour or a day with residents and get to know what they want around mealtimes, what's important to them. I like to think that a good introduction to the care home is the chef go and introduce themselves to the resident, find out what their absolute favourite meal is, and then we can showcase that on the menu either that night or the following day, so that resident feels special when they come in. I mean, we cater for a whole host of things, whether it be Valentine's Day, birthdays, anniversaries, obviously Christmas. We did a big thing at Easter there. Obviously, we've got the Foodies Festival that we do, which is a big hit in the homes as well. We like to explore food from other cultures and other backgrounds and give the residents a chance to try something that they've maybe not tried before. So there's lots and lots and lots of special occasions that we do in the homes and that we can do. And presentation of food is always important. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you eat with your eyes first. And that is no more true than in a care home as well. You know, as you get older, maybe your eyesight slightly diminishes. So you need to have real pops of colour on the plate. There's no good having a white plate with cauliflower, mashed potato and creamy white sauce because it's all very samey. We need to have lots of rainbow food, lots of colours on the plate to draw the eyes in first and foremost. But then once we're there, we need to make sure that there's lots of things happening in terms of presentation. There's lots of height, there's lots of texture to keep it interesting for the residents, make them aware that what they're about to eat is going to be special. And then that obviously hopefully follows through with the flavours as well. We've got an event here today to try some of the new menu ideas for our new spring menu that we've created. We like to have the residents to taste some of the food and some of the unusual dishes. There's no point putting mince and tatties on these events because, yes, they're absolutely on a care home menu, but for these events, it's about trying some of the more unusual dishes. So, for example, today we've got like a Thai-style pork meatball with a really nice fragrant Thai-style sauce. And it gives the residents a chance to taste it in a fun, social way and then give some honest feedback to the chef. If they don't like the dish, we can throw paper towels at them and boo the chef and crumpled up cups and just have a real bit of fun around food. It's about the chef being able to try it, the residents being able to engage, and us to get some real honest feedback from the residents. If they don't like the food, we're not going to cook it. Ultimately, the chefs are here to cook the food people want to eat. So let's make sure that that's what we do. Meal times are important because it should be a big social event. You don't ever go out to eat by yourself. You go out to eat with your friends or your family, and that's the same for care home residents. Mealtimes should be fun. They should be social. They should be engaging for residents. They should sit and feel relaxed and comfortable. Yes, there's a certain service element that we provide in our care homes, and we try to cater for everybody's need, no matter what it is, and anticipate what they're going to want before the resident wants it, and whether that's condiments on the table, a fresh glass of water. They can have a sherry or a gin with their dinner if that's what they want. It should just be a real nice, homely vibe, but with a service, with a smile. It doesn't matter what dietary requirements a resident may have. We can cater for a whole host of different needs, beliefs, and wants when it comes to food. We can tailor any dish to make it suitable for vegetarians. We can tailor any dish to make it suitable for vegans, for people with different cultural beliefs and backgrounds. We can again tailor menus and dishes to make it more suitable for those residents. If a resident's on a texture modified diet, there's been lots of training with our chefs lately. We've invested in new kit for the kitchens, we've invested in external training. I'm constantly training when I'm in the homes with the chefs. If anyone's on a texture modified diet, we can cook the food, process it, and put it through a method that makes it safe for the residents to eat. And then we can present that in a real nice, exciting, enticing way, so that, and the ultimate goal is that it looks exactly like the real dish. So the meal or no meal concept came from, I was in a home and we were looking at a new menu, we're talking about new menu ideas, and we were sat around a table with some of the residents and their families. And I thought, although this is really good feedback, it's a really boring way to talk about food. You know, I'm a chef to trade, so I like to taste it, touch it, feel it. And I think that's what we should be doing. That's what we should be encouraging. So the idea kind of stemmed from that. I thought, well, instead of just talking about these dishes, why don't we cook them and you can try them? But then how do we do that sort of in a fun way? And I think, you know, the meal or no meal, it's just a take on a classic game show. You know, it's a meal and they love it, or it's a no meal and let's take it off and let's replace it with something that the residents want to eat. But it should just, and I can't reiterate this enough, food needs to be fun. So it's all about just engaging the residents in that fun social way. And let's just have some fun trying some new dishes together. And it may be that the residents have got some great ideas and it's something that we then end up putting on the menu based on their feedback, their recipes. These guys have got recipes that outstand me sometimes. I remember we were doing a tasting session in a home once, and a resident came up with a carrot, cumin and cocoa powder mix for a cake. And I remember thinking, going, what was that? But we tried it and it's an absolute stunning cake. It's a home favourite and everybody loves it. But ideally, we would do this sessions at least before the menus go live in the homes, so we can get some feedback from residents and tweak menus. But once a month is a great idea to do it, and it keeps people engaged. It gives them a sense of autonomy in the home, that it's actually the menu that the residents have created and they're not just being dictated to. We can't create one menu across the whole of Scotland that's going to please everybody. Everyone's got different tastes and wants depending on locality of the homes and the residents. So that's where the chef really comes into their own. They can talk to the residents and ask them how they want some of these dishes done. So, you know, steak pie down in Central Belt has got sausages in it, whereas up in Aberdeenshire or in Inverness, the residents would throw plates at you if we've got sausages in our steak pie. And it's all about just understanding the wants and the needs of the residents and tailoring that in any way that we can so that it's more enjoyable for them. Lots of ongoing training that we do for our chefs, lots of development that we do. We hold a chef conference every year where we bring all the chefs into a room and we just talk about lots of new ideas. It's a chance and a platform for the chefs to be together in a room, which is it's a very rare occasion that they get to come together and do that. So it's about them bouncing ideas off each other, showing them what the standards are, but then how to achieve those standards. It's all very well handing somebody a menu or an SOP or saying that this is how we want this to run, but if they don't physically know how to do it, then it's never going to be achieved. So it's about going in there and rolling up your sleeves and just working alongside the teams. I'm quite happy to get stuck in and do what I need to in the homes in order to engage with my chefs and develop them. Ultimately, I want my chefs to be the best that they can be in the homes, and that's for the residents. It's not for me. I think chefing in general can be a very thankless job. However, in the care industry, it's a very, very warm and rewarding place to be a chef. To see the residents' faces light up when they've got a really tasty dish in front of them and they've had proper, humble satisfaction from a dish that you've created or you've made for them. There's no better feeling than that ever. So I think there's lots and lots of job satisfaction there for chefs in the care industry. Certainly for me personally, I take a sense of pride in watching my chefs have that feeling when they've cooked the meals for the residents.